Having so many possibilities with your Laba 7 shock dyno can be intimidating at first, but don't worry, these videos will help you understand all you can do and what kind of information you can draw from it. So let's get to it. For that, we'll be putting a dirt bike shock on the dyno and test it at different speeds, at 200 mm per second, 500 and 1000 mm per second, replicating a low speed, medium speed and high speed compression respectively. Then we'll cycle the shock at different clicker adjustments, with all the clickers fully open as a control test, another with just a low speed compression adjuster closed, one with just a high speed compression adjuster fully closed, one with both compression adjusters closed, and finally one with just a rebound adjuster closed. Once all tests are finished, you'll have access to them on the left of the dashboard. Upon selecting the first test, you'll see that all cycles of compression and rebound are displayed on the graph. This can be useful to see if there are any erratic behaviors of the shock throughout the tests. Since this shock looks consistent, we can select the average force to make the graph less bloated. This graph represents the force the shock provides according to the displacement of the dyno in a clockwise direction, with the compression stroke being represented on the top half of the graph and the rebound on the lower half. The most important quadrants are the top left for the compression, where the compression starts, and the lower right for rebound. Both the lowest and most upper points represent the maximum damping the shock generates on rebound and compression accordingly. So, looking at the results with the clickers fully open, it gives us an idea of the amount of damping the shock will generate. But the interesting part is when you compare different graphs to see how much things change according to the possible adjustments. If we select the test with a low speed compression damping clicker closed, we can already see quite a change. There's clearly more damping being generated overall, but more than that, if we zoom in on the initial part of the compression stroke, we can see a clear spike in damping right from the start. We can associate the steepness of this initial part with the comfort the rider will feel, since a big increase in this part will imply some harshness from the shock. However, if the goal is to have more bottoming resistance, this adjuster will provide a lot more damping throughout the whole compression stroke and at different speeds. If we now select the high-speed compression damping clicker closed, we get a very different result than the previous adjuster. As the name implies, this adjuster is usually felt only on higher speeds of compression, and at 1000 mm per second we can identify a small increase in the maximum damping, but besides that, nothing much. Does this mean this shock is bad? Not quite. By selecting the test with both the low-speed and high-speed compression damping clickers closed, we have a very different picture of this shock's ability to generate damping. As we can see with all the compression adjusters tests on display, with both compression adjusters closed, the shock provides a considerable amount of compression damping compared to any other configuration. What this tells us about the shock? Well, it means that this shock's high-speed adjuster is quite sensitive to how the low-speed adjuster is set. It's not a bad thing in itself, it simply means that the damping generated by the high-speed adjuster is not necessarily linear according to the low-speed clicker. Some shocks are more linear than others depending on the configuration of the adjusters. And what about the rebound? It might be surprising to see that one single adjustment can cause such a big amplitude in damping, but it actually makes sense. On compression, we are only affecting the amount of oil that goes through the top adjusters, which isn't much. It's the same volume of oil as the piston rod entering the shock. However, on the rebound it affects all the oil that is under the piston that has to go through the adjuster and valve, so it's a lot more oil. And we can also highlight that the rebound adjuster will have an impact on the compression and vice versa. No matter the tests, adjustments or diagnoses you do, you'll be able to clearly see the differences of each one through Laba 7's easy-to-use interface. And the more you test, the bigger your test library will become, which can help you down the line with more complicated shocks or scenarios you might encounter in your workshop. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and for more information head over to laba7.com.